say hi?
Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I'm Jihei, and I'm so happy to introduce you, my two favorite ladies and musicians and faculty members and friends from the Brevard Music Center. Here's Allison Pohl, a beautiful singer, and here is a flutist, Dilshad Posnock. So, I'm going to ask them a few questions about being a mom and being a musician, and they have a lot of wisdom to share. So, my first question is, was there any physical change that you experienced during pregnancy or after birth for playing your own instrument or for you singing, and how you overcame?
I think that, of course, when we're pregnant, our bodies change. So I think it's
Yeah.
a lot, right? So it's different how we walk, it's different how we sleep, it's different how we sit. And of course, it feels a little bit different how we play. And I know that, we both use air a lot. So I've heard that exactly, the more pregnant you get, perhaps you have a little bit less air. But frankly, I think I just embraced that and went with my new form and my new physical form and just adjusted my playing accordingly.
But then after, so it goes up, and then you get the baby out, and then how was it different after that?
Well, if I can go back to before for a second,
Yeah.
I think also it's important because I sometimes have students ask me this question and they say, can you play when you're pregnant? Of course you can play when you're pregnant. There are friends who play until they go into labor. There are friends who might stop a little before. But of course you can, just as you can do everything else when you're pregnant, you absolutely can play. And I wish that teachers were happier to talk to their students about this, because as we have older students, these are questions that they might have.
And you can ask. That's the thing. If you have questions, just don't be afraid of asking these questions, because it's, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of women go through this.
Exactly.
And it's so much better to know just beforehand, because I didn't. And that's why I'm doing this video. so then back to the after.
I think the after was certainly easier, although I had some other physical challenges coming out of both my births. So it was a little while before I got back, into playing, but it was nothing that was so specific to my flute playing as it was for life in general.
I see. How about, you have to hold the flute, right? Was there any challenge because you were holding the baby and then,
your arms are a little more tired sometimes, but not very much.
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's good. How about you?
Well, I think that during pregnancy and also after, of course, you have hormonal changes that might affect your voice, and for some more than others. But as a woman and as a singer, your hormones change throughout your life, no matter whether you have children or not. So it's something that you have to be prepared for, and you, I think, in my experience, have to kind of embrace it, roll with it, not think too hard, not overanalyze, not self-criticize too much, and not obsess over it so much that it hinders you and stops you from going back to your singing. So I went back to it immediately. I recommend going back to it as soon as possible after you give birth. And I had a C-section, so I had other physical, you
I had one.
Right. So of course you have a different physical situation right away.
Everybody's different,
But I think the sooner you can recover and get into the mindset of, okay, I'm a singer, this is what I do, I'm gonna open my mouth and go. I think that that's the better way, instead of just waiting until you're ready, because you'll never feel
that is true.
Totally ready. And I just think it's better to dive in head first.
Sure. And I think that we probably feel these changes much more than people hear them, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, the quicker we're able to get out of our own, any reservations we have about it ourselves, the sooner we will get back to where we need to be, because we feel them much stronger, I think, than anybody hears them.
I think so too.
See, I wish I heard this right after I had my son. But so how quickly actually did you go back? Let's talk about that.
I took a little while. I moved very soon after I had my first child. After my second child, I might have gone back quicker. But after my first child, we made a big move, to a different part of the country. So I took a break for many different reasons.
Okay.
So I certainly had a couple of months entirely off.
Then what was the first thing? Do you remember after your first one?
I don't remember because I
Yeah.
know we moved back, so I know it was a concert with the Asheville Symphony. I don't remember exactly when it was,
Okay.
in a substitute capacity because I was in a new town
Right,
and I
right.
needed to still make
Yeah.
all those connections. So it was slow going for me.
Yeah. How about you? It was quicker?
Well, I just happened to have already had this competition that was scheduled for
Yeah.
exactly 6 weeks
Oh, that's soon.
postpartum, and also
Yes.
I gave birth 2 weeks after my due date, so it was
Okay.
all a lot sooner than I
Yeah.
even anticipated it being. And so I was preparing for that, leading up to it, and I went and I sang, and this is in no way meant to sound braggy, but I won, and
Exactly.
and then I went to the bathroom where the competition was held, and I stripped off my dress and pumped because my breasts were
Yes,
about
it's
to explode, and they were hot. I remember thinking, I need to get this milk out, so please announce the results immediately, so I can get my picture
Yes.
taken and
Right.
escape to the bathroom. And I came home and I brought my jars of milk and I told my husband that I won. So
That's awesome.
that was just by coincidence that it was so soon
Right.
after, but it was good because it forced me back into
Absolutely.
it,
Right.
and I'm glad it did.
Well, congratulations on that success.
Oh.
And also, it's interesting because you had something scheduled beforehand,
Right,
right?
right.
That you couldn't change or didn't want to change.
Which I think is a great motivator.
Yeah, that is true.
That's a good idea.
Because I think actually I didn't plan a lot of things for at least 3 months, and then I had to just slowly start building again.
I did more like you did. Yes.
Right. But I guess if I do it again, I could plan ahead
Yeah.
for the post-baby
Right.
months. Yeah, that's a good advice.
It's always
So-
good to have something to look forward to because
Yes,
then
that
you
is
have no
true.
choice but to practice
Yeah,
and
right.
you can't
No excuse and
criticize
you-
too
yeah,
much.
that's
Yeah,
right.
you
You
have
just
to
do.
make time for it, even if it's
Right.
in tiny little snippets here and there. You're not going to have these huge swaths of time that you used to practice, and you have to approach practicing in a totally
Right.
different way. And
Efficiency.
efficiency, you
That's
end up
right.
learning so much
Yes,
faster
Exactly.
because you have no other choice.
Yes. So that leads to my second question, which regards the time management. So that's a big topic, big issue. A lot of, I think, not even moms, just professional musicians in general.
Yes.
We have to deal with the time limit that we have. You know, whether it's on a daily basis or, you know, how long do I have until this concert, kind of. So let's talk a little bit about that.